on it. So let's go through a little intro on you. You, full name. You can even throw in the middle if you need to. Middle name if you want, or if you have two. I have two.
I do have two as well.
You have two?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, what's yours?
We're classy.
Yeah, what,
Joe, do you have one?
He probably has one. Look, judging by the look of him, he probably has one.
Probably got one middle.
Yeah, you probably have one middle name. Yeah.
Voldemort or something ridiculous. Yeah.
Who shall not be named, right?
Yeah.
So Devin Gregory Scott Hahn.
Wow.
I think
That's a mouthful.
I think it's classy.
That is pretty classy.
Nancy Schmidt. See, I'm learning new things about you every day.
You both in those scrubs are ridiculously handsome. It is. Do you guys get that a lot?
Listen, it's taken a while for me to come around to this color.
Yeah.
I immediately like it.
I like it. Well, you're extremely tan, so it looks really good. And Devin is not tan at all.
That's an understatement.
Yeah. Wow. I'm really tasting these vitamins right now. Is that normal?
Yep.
Yeah,
Totally
it's normal. Yeah. I
You want
like
me
it.
to slow it down?
No, don't slow it down. I want it forced in me. And moving on.
Nice. Well said.
Mark that. Just kidding.
So full name Devin Gregory Scott Hahn. Are we doing like an icebreaker? Like what?
Yeah. No. Just just name your full name because I didn't know your last names.
Mm-hmm.
So Joseph Michael Baczewski.
Nice. No, but the Baczewski is nice. It really is that sounded good.
It's Baczewski.
Is it really?
That's the Americanized abomination.
Version of it.
Yeah.
So for both of you, how long have you guys known each other? Like how long have you guys been friends, business partners, whatever?
I forced myself on you how long ago?
I don't know if it was necessarily that.
We're gonna keep that in too. Yeah, that's staying in. Yeah.
So we started working together at Hartford probably 6 years ago.
Yep.
I had come back to Hartford working in IV therapy. Devin was working on CB5 as a floor nurse, and at the very beginning was trying to get him onto our team, and finally was able to get him onto our IV therapy team, and we made a really great friendship. And again, just great guy to work with and good guy to have on the team and be able to call my partner in LIVation. Yeah,
because to be honest, that's what I've noticed about you guys. Like, and I guess Marissa can attest to that.
I know her.
Yeah, Olga over here, aka Marissa. We said the same thing. Like, you both just have such a good vibe. I hate that we keep saying that, but it's true. Mm-hmm. You guys work so well together, and I think that's huge in a business, especially to try to get people comfortable with this. I mean, You're literally putting IVs into people, and it's very uncomfortable. Even myself, I mean, I was like, I'm super uncomfortable with just people stabbing me, right? It's just terrible. It's an awful thing. And for you guys to come in the way that you do, you make it feel a lot better.
That's what we try and do. Essentially, trying to get people over that mark of an IV is only for when I'm really sick in a hospital, where this is something that you actively, this is part of my wellness regimen, and I want to do it because I know that this is going to help me. Yeah.
And I mean, how did both of you, or how did you kind of come into that this was going to be your thing? Like, it's like, hey, LIVation, this is going to be about replenishing people with, vitamins, replenishing people with electrolytes, all those types of things. Like, how do you, get into that? How did you guys get into this?
So I actually initially worked at a place.
Okay.
That did the same type of service. And Joe was actually interested. Now, you'd be able to probably speak a little bit more in terms of the family origin of the business.
Sure.
But his mom was experiencing a form of brain cancer.
Okay.
And he was basically looking for a path to increase her vitality and make her feel better through all the treatments and procedures that she's been going through.
Yeah.
Right? So he wanted to come down and take a look at just kind of how things ran at the specific place that I worked at. And after I did this bachelorette party,
yeah,
I did 8 in a row, boom, 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 got them all done. And then he approached me after. He's like, Devin, we can do this so much better.
Yeah.
Wow. By implementing our ultrasound placement, which you both have now
experienced. Which was, super easy. I've been stuck a couple of times, going in. Mm-hmm. They didn't have that, and you're just like, ow, ow, ow.
It's a fishing game.
Yeah, it really is, and it worked out really well. I mean, you got it the first try.
Yeah, and typically, as you can see, we place it in your forearm. A lot of people, when you think of an IV site or you get blood drawn, you think right here in the ditch.
Yeah.
This enables people to move their arm, be more comfortable, even more so.
Yeah.
Right? Doing something new that they're not necessarily used to.
Yeah.
But Joe can speak a little bit more about the personal side of things in terms of why he really wanted to kind of ram this home.
So in the course of my mom's treatment, Devin sort of touched on that she was having essentially more worser days than good days.
Okay.
And, as a nurse, my experience has been emergency medicine, intensive care, and that before finally settling into IV therapy. And in the traditional Western medicine, if you will, I see that we oftentimes lose sight of the quality of an existence.
Yeah.
And we strictly focus on essentially the quantity. And we try and get years rather than, well, would you rather have 2 years of misery, or would you rather have 6 months of, hey, this is good time in my last days?
Yeah.
So essentially with her finding, there were times where she was getting dehydrated. We were having to go to the hospital to be able to get her hydrated. And I'm like, this is ridiculous, because I've done home care nursing before. I've been able to do this type of thing. It prompted me to start looking at other avenues as to how we can potentially increase energy levels and minimize her adversities through the chemo treatments and the radiation.
Yeah.
Kept coming up with high-dose vitamin C therapy. My mom's was formerly a radiology technician, and then my father was a retired firefighter. The only two places that I can find that were of medical grade, one was New York City, one was Boston, and they were somewhere between $4,000 and $6,500 a week for treatment.
Wow, dude. Wow.
And again, like when
That's
it's something
crazy.
that can improve your quality of life, it's worth it.
Yeah.
But again, like when it's made out of unobtainium,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
it's unobtainable.
That's crazy.
So so I had the opportunity to follow up with Devin. I knew that he was working at a place, and I was kind of curious. Is like, well, this is more of like a med spa place.
Mm-hmm.
They're not really medical, but maybe they can help. And went to the place, and it was just like, no, like this isn't even remotely something that's medical.
Yeah.
And that's when I talked to him. I was like, listen, we could totally do this on our own. We have the people around us to support us. We have the skill set, and now it's just a matter of, getting our names out there and really focusing in on, this is something where someone like you or Marissa could potentially get and just help with your overall wellness, to the people that want high-dose vitamin C therapy as an adjunctive therapy to their oncology treatments.
Okay. Yeah.
This is about marrying Eastern and Western medicine.
Yeah.
The different nutraceuticals that are out there, how they play in the body. Everything that we put into our bodies are essentially helping us to achieve something, right? No one thing that we put into our body actually fixes anything. It just helps what's already existing work better.
Yeah.
Vitamin C therapy, nutrient therapy, this boosts yourself, your immune system, your ability to replicate cells, and really hones in the fact that, like, again, the person that can make you better, you're living in them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's like your health is your responsibility,
Right.
and it's your responsibility to do the research to make yourself this optimum being, like yourself. And that's actually what attracted me, to you guys too. But it was also the quality of care is there, the information is there, the cited studies are there. We already know that
Right.
these things work. It's not a matter of like, do they work? It's a matter of, like you were saying before, is making it accessible. $6,500, a week is insane.
Right.
But you coming in for a bag that's, $100 to not even 200 if it's a large bag makes it way more manageable, and you're giving somebody the quality of life and performance. So that's what I liked. And you guys marry the professionalism, the medical side, but then you also have the big side, the business side, which is the personality too, to make somebody feel comfortable in their skin. And are you guys go to people's houses and stuff too, correct?
Yep.
So to have somebody come into your home and actually have that home care feel, and I mean, two handsome guys in whatever color scrubs those are,
Tiffany blue.
coming in, a Tiffany blue,
Tiffany blue.
coming in. I mean, it makes it a little bit better, So, I mean, I would open the door for, maybe 50% of this crew, I'm going to say it's probably going to be, the Tanners aren't over here. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Totally kidding. I'll let you in. I'll let you in. No, but it's so nice just to see, that background makes it something passion driven,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't make it so much about just like, oh, you're selling snake oil or some shit. That's what kills me is like, we know this works. So many people have no idea what it's like to be properly hydrated, making sure your
Mm-hmm.
vitamin C levels. Vitamin D is, if it's down, you could feel like death. And I've had that happen.
Right.
I had my vitamin D levels checked maybe like 3-4 years ago, and it was so low. It was like dangerously low. They were like, this is not good.
Yeah.
So I had them, I just was taking orally, I was just taking vitamin D for like a month and a half to get my
Mm-hmm.
levels back up.
Mm-hmm.
I felt so much better. My lifts went down. Everything went down.
Right.
You don't want to do anything. You feel like total shit.
Yeah.
So to have this, and I remember the last time I did this, I felt great.
Right.
It just kind of was a pick me up.
Mm-hmm.
And I even told you before, I was like, dude, I'm run down. I do too much.
Yeah.
I do just constantly doing stuff. So how often do you guys recommend doing the bags?
Well, so we typically, it depends on the lifestyle of the individual.
Okay.
Right. So
The
like
person.
just blueprint, if someone was to just ask us that before even telling us anything about
Got it.
how their life is run,
True.
we'd say probably monthly.
Okay, yeah, getting it monthly. Now for you guys, it's like, how do you train to become like? How do you train, like certify all that stuff to do something like this? Like,
Right.
where would that be? Like, how do you get the credentials to do it?
So essentially, from what we need to be able to actually carry out the function of putting the IV site in, mixing up the nutraceuticals into the saline, and then administering it.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be a registered nurse.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the other avenues is, so we have a medical director as well as a PA. Both of them actively played a role in creating protocols. So essentially, when someone has a particular complaint, right, I get headaches all the time. Well, we could fortify an infusion with extra magnesium, for example, to essentially help calm, if you will,
Yeah.
with headaches, or again, like if they have restless legs or something like that. Again, magnesium is a great electrolyte that really does help with that, and it's essentially one of the more natural remedies
Yeah.
of treating something like that. Aside from that, Devin and I, we have our vascular access certification. So it's a board certification that we, again, like we know veins, we know peripheral access, and it's always about the right vein and being able to appropriately administer what we're doing.
You can't just be some punk off the street. Is what
You
you're
shouldn't
saying.
be.
Is what
Yeah.
you're saying.
You
Yeah, you
shouldn't be.
probably shouldn't be. Yeah,
You shouldn't be.
You shouldn't be. Yeah, I mean, because that was like, when I was telling this to, I think it was my mom. I was just like, yeah, they do. She was like, well, what do you do? You just like let them in and they just stick you with a needle. I'm like, no, that's not the way. Like, what the hell?
Technically,
Yeah, I mean, you are, but they're wearing these really nice blue suits, and you just gotta let them in,
Yeah.
and then after that, it was like, oh, okay, cool. And I've talked to you a little bit about it, but I just didn't know like what sort of certification you have to have. But now that that it is coming, like you guys were saying, more of a medical, background, that feels a hell of a lot better, and it probably puts people, at ease when you're, certed up to the gills like you guys. It's gotta feel good. Yeah, I mean, you're just not like, hey, where I just here. Oh, by the way, like right out of your pocket, you're like,
just
you want
picking
this?
up trash,
You
yeah,
want
yeah,
this?
here.
Yeah. So what kind of people? Because I mean, we kind of went over it. Because I'm coming from more of like a fitness. I'm on my feet. 15 hours. A day. 5 days a week. Then constantly switching gears. What type of people do you guys draw mostly? Because I have this thing in my head that it's like a bunch of like drunk, drunk dudes at a wedding or at like bachelorette party, like, oh my God, Tiffany drank, and they're just like, we just need it, we got to get married tomorrow. Like that type, that's what I'm picturing.
Yep.
But am I wrong about that?
So we definitely cater to that audience, I would say, but the majority of the business of our business is a lot of the healthcare.
Okay.
People really searching for this service to be an adjunct and in addition to their current medical regimen.
Yeah.
Joe and I aren't claiming here to, make all these false claims that, hey, all you need to do is just this, right? You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
So like we're looking to marry Eastern and Western medicine, like Joe said earlier.
Yeah.
We're really trying to make sure we can merge those two together and ultimately give people the best outcomes possible that they can.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about aiding in performance, I mean, I definitely know that. I mean, like salt, sodium is definitely something. Electrolytes, magnesium, potassium obviously helps muscle potentials just actually happen.
Mm-hmm.
So to actually perform is important. And it was actually such a big proponent in that UFC and boxing made it that these are illegal. You can't. This is such a performance enhancing before.
Right.
So what does that tell you? Like it's like, come on, we know that IV therapy works. They even test to make sure that these IVs didn't get in their system. They have, I think they test for the plastics or something. Or the vitamin levels being too high afterwards.
I think it's
more the vitamin
more
levels.
of it, yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
But it's like they make sure that they know. So it's like it's got to tell you something.
Well, so there's a couple different avenues of thought, right? So it seems that every time that in the nutraceutical realm that we make a step forward, you always have someone trying to disprove.
Yeah.
And again, like I'm used to people saying like, oh, well, all that does is give you expensive urine.
Yeah.
And, to a degree, like, well, you're right, because we're essentially immersing your circulation with these certain nutrients. But what they sometimes forget about is, again, like your cells are absorbing things as they pass by. Your liver is actually, even though vitamin C is water soluble, your liver is actually able to hold on to vitamin C. So you have retention there. And then, again, like, yeah, this infusion will only be in your system for maybe about 24 hours, but you're going to feel the effects 7, 10 days, 2 weeks out, where, again, like, your cells are now using all this stuff. They've put reserves in intracellularly, and now it's actually able to use it.
Yeah.
So it's always, I always try and do the fine line of trying to tease out information from people as far as like, well, what makes you say that? Like, what experience did you have that makes you think that way? And I think it's like anything, right? So you have med spas that just like, they slap a couple things together and they say like, okay, here you go. This is going to make your skin gorgeous.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. They say shit like that. Yeah.
And nobody ever discusses the why. And, Devin and I, we do our best to really delve into what the nutraceuticals are doing, what we're designing them to essentially play well together to be able to do, but also managing the fact that, essentially setting expectations.
Yeah.
One infusion isn't going to cure you of any sort of like disorder per se, but again, like in the treatment of chronic infections and things like that, high-dose vitamin C is phenomenal as far as helping with, autoimmune disorders, certain digestive health issues, inflammatory processes in the body, Lyme disease, things like that. Again, we're not saying that it cures, but it certainly makes the ride a lot less bumpy.
Yeah, that's for sure. No, I mean, like to hear about that, and like I've had my experiences with that. Vitamins actually matter, and maybe we could kind of touch on this. I don't want to beat this dead horse, with like the Western and Eastern, meeting together. But I one time got I got a what is it called? Anti-aging test. Mm-hmm. Like I got one of those tests. I sent away for a kit, and I got it. And anti-aging, it was like they pretty much just test for your vitamin levels, and they just tell you like, hey, you can use a little bit more of this, you can use a little bit more of that, So I was like, all right. Mm-hmm. So I sent away for it, and the doctor that I've had since I was like 12. The guy's like 1,000 years old, and he takes more of the medications than he prescribes for sure. He calls me Philip, and that's my dad's name, and he's been dead for a while, but I still answer to it, So I'll be like, oh yeah, sure. And I'll be like, and so one time they put on my thing, and he's like, so Phil, he had his eyes shut. And he's like, so Philip, how's he goes, he's like, how's Jacob and Benjamin? And I'm like trying to like look at him. I'm like, I'm Benjamin, and Philip has been dead for 5 years, And I remember the it's not PA. The nurse was like, okay. So she goes, gets me a different chart, everything, the whole nine. Great doctor. So and anyway, I go, hey, I want to take this anti-aging test, but I need a blood test, and I need to do it here. And he goes, and do you know what he said to me? He goes, oh, that stuff doesn't really matter. She said that stuff really doesn't matter.
I've heard
And
that
I'm like,
before.
what? It's insane to me.
Right.
When I got my vitamin D, after that was when I got my vitamin D tested, and they were like, dude, this is like dangerously low. I'm like, so if it was dangerously low, does it matter? Like, what are we doing? I'm getting mixed signals here.
Yep.
So for me, ever since then, there's been this thing that I've kind of talked about. Maybe you guys can kind of touch on it. Healthy people are super annoying. We're very annoying because we feel good almost all the time. That when we feel bad, we can communicate that we feel like shit. We're like, I feel terrible today. But when somebody who feels terrible all the time, they only have these little minutes of feeling good when they have something or have done something. Oh, I drank enough water today. Well, yeah, you feel good because you finally, you feel good, you're hydrated properly, or you do this. It's like when somebody starts working out or taking care of themselves for the 2 weeks before they fail or whatever, don't go back to it. They're like, oh, I feel amazing.
Right.
But healthy people who actively take care of themselves, we're annoying all the damn time because we're like, yeah, everything is great. Like, whoa, you feel that? I feel great. I lifted, 400 pounds today. We are annoying. There's something to that.
Right.
That we are super annoying. So it's like, what is it? Is it the vitamins matter? They don't. And I think, come on, it's pretty easy to say that they do.
But going back to what we sort of touched on before. So, for example, there's a great vitamin C study that was performed on intensive care patients, primarily with septic patients. And what they were doing was they were giving 1,000 milligrams of oral vitamin C, whether that was ground up in their tube while they were still intubated. So essentially, they're still able to feed patients.
Mm-hmm.
You were putting those in, or if you were able to, they'd essentially give you the pill, and it was only a gram of oral vitamin C. They were looking to see if it helped with the disposition of the disease, seeing if it helped, the antibiotics work any better, what have you. The conclusion of the study was that it didn't help. If you start reading the fine print and you start looking into areas that could potentially lead to other studies, they noticed that there was, I believe it was an 8 or an 11% reduction in the test patient group who were receiving the vitamin C.
Yeah.
So essentially, they were spending less time in the intensive care unit compared to the non-vitamin C.
Yeah, there's got to be some. There's something to that.
And these are the things that make me crazy as a nurse, as someone trying to do well by others. Is we're constantly having to sort of tear that stuff apart. But I mean, we can look at politics. We could look at things in the news that people only look at the headline.
Yes,
and they care nothing about the actual guts of whatever it is that
the body of work.
Right.
No, nobody. Exactly. Yeah. Whatever's going to catch somebody's eye is going to get them to go, and then it's just and then it's over. Just
the other thing is now you have somebody they've said that they've already made a big deal about it, and then try and put that genie back in the bottle.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. So essentially it's more trying to get people to be a little bit more open-minded. The unfortunate reality, there's a couple clinics in the U.S., Riordan Clinic's one of the biggest vitamin C treatment centers for terminally ill cancer patients. It's unfortunate because a lot of their studies are done on stage 4 and terminally ill cancer patients because they've exhausted all the normal resources and their backs are against the wall to look at something else.
Yeah,
and
man.
If we were to essentially have an honest conversation with ourselves and run honest studies to really look into these things, we might find that doing things, the radiation, the chemo, and vitamin C therapy could potentially better someone's disposition and hopefully putting their cancer into remission.
Yeah, if that's the ultimate goal here, do you think that, and I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth here, obviously large pharma, has a huge, pull with a lot of impact on a lot of things. And obviously there is profit, margins when it does get turned into a business. Do you think that has a huge impact on those types of studies? To see the light of day, to really see.
It tremendously does.
Yeah,
But again, I think it gets to the point where, I'm looking forward to the day where we're going to be working with other local hospitals to essentially run these studies And, again, I think that's sort of where we're different than a lot of these other pop-up med spa-y places.
Yeah.
Is we're trying to provide services that people are looking for and provide a safe and appropriate way of being able to try and demonstrate and use them in their wellness journey.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's also a little bit of it where bedside manner comes into it. And I don't want to make somebody feel comfortable on top of giving them something that's going to make them feel better, is a good medicine.
Right.
It's like laughter, care,
Yep.
The quality, it goes such a long way. I've just seen it go bad so many times.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I mean, if you guys do whatever you guys do in the future, it's like, just try to keep it, where you guys are interviewing for personality as well, because I think you'll go way farther if it's like, hey, what are you about? Right. Are you about really taking care of somebody here? Like, what are we doing? And I think like that sounds like corny or like odd, but it does like to a business standpoint, like you want to like be in a business interview, like, hey, tell me a joke, or it's like you can't do that, but it's like I need to see some sort of personality here, because like I've just seen such shit, like for people just like punching in a time clock and being overworked. I mean, let's be honest. Like right now, you can't. Everybody's overworked because so many people don't want to work. So you guys are picking up the slack on everything as far as with nursing floor, I imagine. Like if you guys are in a hospital, you guys are probably working like crazy. No. Yeah.
Well, so I actually left my hospital job.
Yeah.
Because really the only way to sort of carry this idea forward.
You had to double down on it, man.
And that's it. And I've run a small business before in a landscaping company, and again, like I've always been great at doing a lot of different things and never mastering one. And this is my opportunity as a nurse, to be my own master of destiny, if you will.
Yes.
And essentially with a supportive business partner and my wife, who's an absolute rock star, being our PA and being supportive of those late nights. And, essentially the late callbacks and not able to go to bed on time and that type of thing.
Well, you guys have been here all day. You guys have been here all day. You know what I mean? And still upbeat every single time. You know what I mean? And that's huge. And that's big on business. So like I can't even tell you how many birthdays, things I've missed, things I've done. You know what I mean? People are like, "Is it worth it?" I'm like, "Yes, 100%." You know what I mean? I love what I do. You love what you do, and to double down on your idea is so powerful to so many people who, like you're saying, I've been such a master of nothing, but good at all this stuff.
Right.
And when I started like, hey, I'm going to just kind of double down on my business and just really be like, hey, this is going to be something where I can get people in and I feel confident on my stuff. It's like, why wouldn't you do that? Right. That shows that you believe in it, so much more. And you guys obviously seem to be progressing really well with it. So it's like, wow.
I would say we got busier even through the whole pandemic.
Well, I imagine you would, wouldn't you? I mean, like, wouldn't people...
Well, people are just, from what we're gathering from our clients and even the new clients that we see, it's just like people are now trying to, at least the majority of the people are now trying to really advocate for their health now. Yeah. In different ways. And this is the different way.
This is definitely a different way. But have you ever experienced somebody coming in and it's like you weren't expecting what they were doing? Like you got there and you're like, whoa, what is going? Like, not a crazy story, but like, have you ever gone and it went kind of weird? Has it gotten anything get a little weird on you guys?
I wouldn't say weird. You definitely meet a lot of different personalities.
Okay, yeah, I imagine when you're going to people's homes.
I think it's more, and again, like it's not weird, but it's essentially us coming into a client's house, and essentially having these honest discussions about their healthcare, and then like the floodgates open up as soon as they've like hit that threshold of I can confer with this guy.
They just
they seem like they're in my corner and. Word salad, I'm going to tell you everything.
Yeah.
And again, like it's one of those things where I learned early on, and I think it sort of goes back to, sort of the core values that I have, especially again, like being a person who, I'm not here to judge you.
Yeah.
Like, we all mess up, and I love the fact that we're all imperfect people. striving to be more perfect versions of ourselves.
Yeah.
And realistically, that's what it's all about. And, again, I think in the hospital setting, I've seen some pretty weirdness, especially working in the emergency department.
Yeah, weirdness. I like how you put that lightly. It's like weirdness. There's some weirdness.
1 year in emergency department in an inner city hospital.
Yeah.
You will wonder how humanity is continuing to spin on. Even though it seems really dysfunctional, you'd think that we would have snuffed ourselves out 1,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Just keeps rolling.
Just a lot of Legos inside people, huh?
Oh,
Just tell me the truth.
Yeah.
Legos.
I could write a children's book
of like
for every different thing.
What's been in my butt.
For the record, Y is for Yankee Candle.
Yeah. So Hot Wheels.
Yeah. Why for Yankee Candle?
Yankee Candles.
That was. And not the little guy. We're talking the 48 hour.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Not kidding.
That
crucifixes too.
What?
Yeah.
You found a crucifix in someone's butt?
I didn't see that.
Yeah. Is that on an X-ray or?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Clear as day.
Well, wow. Oh, crucifix.
We have the ability as nurses in the acute care facility to look at the scans that the provider's looking at.
Maybe
just
the
to
bottom
pull
of
information from, right?
Maybe the bottom of his feet, maybe.
So
but
we
not
can
the
see
arms
all the
and head.
imaging. It's wild. But those
Wildness.
I would say those are probably the top two. You told me the story about the Yankee Candle.
The Yankee Candle.
That was before my time.
Do you know what scent it was? Because I can tell you what it is now.
I could only assume. It was Macintosh.
We're not.
That's my mom's favorite candle.
Yeah.
You ruined that.
I like fresh cut green grass. I like that one.
Great.
Yeah.
Why not bacon? There's a bacon Yankee candle, isn't there?
There's Gwyneth.
Confirmation.
There's a Gwyneth Paltrow one. Do you guys know about that one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No,
it's
I don't know about this.
You know lampshades and burnt hair? Yankee candle?
Yeah. No. Gwyneth Paltrow is a scent of her own. It's a candle of her own scent.
Oh.
And it is. Yep. It's her vagina. It's her vagina. It's true. Yeah. Look it up, dude. She was selling it.
That's done.
That woman.
So you're not kidding.
I'm not kidding. No, I swear to God.
You can have one custom made
insane.
too. You can get one that like smells like your partner's orgasm. You can get. I mean, she's super expensive.
Potato water.
But right.
Yeah. I don't know what that is. Sorry. Yeah, we were real professional
I'm
up until.
I'm Polish, so I actually love potatoes.
It's pro.
So I'm pretty sure that's potato water.
Yeah. Hard hit New Britain. Yeah, Nutraceutical.
But Joe, what you were saying, I thought of something as he was saying it. But when you say the floodgates open, I mean when you guys administered this to Ben and I, you want those floodgates to open because then you guys immediately knew the recipe to create for us and for what we need. So
that's true because for the lifestyle
right
that we live. Like to have that, you'd be like, oh, okay. Hey, you're checking all these boxes. Like, hey, I'm run down. Hey, I'm this. It's like, we know what you need. Like because we've seen this before.
Well, it kind of all boils down to just listening.
Yeah.
A lot of people, especially nowadays, are all caught up in just they talk more than they listen. And Joe made a good point. It's like a lot of the clients that we see, they tend to sometimes just dump on us because they know that we're in their corner.
Yeah.
We're going to help either them advocate for themselves or advocate for them.
Yeah.
And it just boils down to just take a minute and listen, right? And being in an acute care setting, like the hospital setting, I mean, Joe, you and me love to talk to people and all that kind of stuff. We have zero time to do that in the hospital.
Yeah. Dude, that's so true. It's like
stamping out widgets.
Zero.
Yeah. There's a clipboard and
we're
like
doing this to patients, and this is probably one of the main things that patients fear the most going into a hospital setting, going into for a routine blood draw.
Yeah.
So,
they fear this.
Right. Oh, I get it. I mean, I totally get that. Yeah,
absolutely.
And it sort of boils down to the whole like patient experience, right? LIVation is kind of one-dimensional in the sense of what we're doing right now with the infusions. We're looking to do more in education, helping to build IV teams in hospitals, essentially maintaining that level of professionalism. Again, like we treat this medically. Like we're not here to just sort of like nonchalantly put an IV in your arm. We're trying to help you manage certain symptoms. And I think in a hospital setting, You're expected to just stamp out widgets and follow directions rather than, again, like, I don't care what your levels are. How do you feel? You're going to start to see degradation in the healthcare setting because I'm going to tell you right now. So the Press Ganey is a survey that hospitals do. Do you know what they're based off of?
What?
They're based off of flying surveys. So
Really?
essentially, with different, like Delta Airlines, that type of thing, any airlines, like essentially a lot of the questions that are in a hospital survey are from airline surveys.
Really?
Why?
I don't.
This is totally not. And again, like, I don't know the answer. I still haven't been able to get an answer from anybody.
That is weird.
And it's just completely bizarre in a sense that here we are. I get it. Like, airlines have to deal with people all the time, but we're literally dealing with people at the most fragile time in their life.
Yeah, vulnerable times.
Vulnerability is through the roof. And again, trying to do a good job of buffering, I guess, our own feelings as far as leaving the baggage at the door when you walk in and really allowing yourself to hear the patient. Because I've seen it all the time on floors is you get one nurse, they have a bad experience with the patient, and in report, they're basically telling the next nurse what an asshole this patient is.
Exactly.
And no matter what you can do, once you put that out into the universe, call it whatever you want.
It's there.
Like, now it's there. Now that patient's stuck with it.
Yeah.
And these are the types of things where I'll tell you what, like, I may have a bad interaction with you, Ben, but like, I'm a guy.
Yeah.
Like, we might have a fight, we might have a throwdown, but I'm gonna, hey, you want to go grab a beer?
Yeah, like afterwards.
Hey, I'm really sorry, I was out of sorts.
Yeah, and we need to be able to do that. Right. Like, we need to be able to be like, yo, hey, sorry I was being a dick before, I was in a lot of pain, or hey, sorry, it's just a little crazy, my bad. It's like we need to be able to accept that apology. I think it takes a larger person of emotional intelligence to go like, oh shit, yeah. Like I went to I got into an accident a while ago. I don't want to beat this dead horse, but anyway, I got into an accident a while ago because I've talked about it so many times in the podcast. So when I was at the thing, like, everybody's going crazy. Like, it's insane over there. It's the emergency room. Right. It's crazy. So I was like, it is what it is. Like, I'm just kind of, but people were so nice. They were like, great. And I was just sitting there, and I remember, like, the one lady, she's like, can you believe this? I was like, they've been really nice. Like, this has been amazing. Like, considering, are you reading the room? There's a guy bleeding over there. There's a dude trying to get out of his cuffs over there. He was being cuffed to the bed. There's somebody crying over there for no reason. Like, I don't know why their person's crying. There's a lady who her arm looks like another L. She broke her arm, and I got in before her. By the way, I got in before that person with the crumpled arm, and they're like super sweet. I'm like, so, like, I don't know what you're talking about. Read the room here. I'm like, right. There's chaos going on, and these people are smiling at you, and they're like, hey, is everything okay? Do you want me to, do you want to come? You know what I mean? Right. And by the way, can I just say that form-fitting scrubs, do you know about, you guys have this. I mean, obviously, like, good. And you got a set of cheeks on it. So do you. And I've seen you squat before. Yeah. So listen, I didn't know that was a thing. That's all I'm going to say, about the scrub thing. We can scrub that, because wow. That's all I got to say. It was a Bristol hospital, and I didn't know that all of them were fitted up like that. That's all I got to say. She's like, follow me. I'm like, no problem. I'm in. Yeah. I am following you. Destiny. That's really her name. So yeah. So what we'll do some questions that were submitted on the gram. So we'll go with, we'll go just right through them. Does your pee turn super bright yellow after doing the IV? I haven't found out yet because I haven't gone PPs yet.
Do you want me to go, or do you want to take that one?
Take it away, Joe.
Yeah.
Typically, yes.
Yes.
But that definitely has to do with the water solubility of the vitamins.
Yeah.
Right? Joe likes to use an analogy, which I'm going to let you take it from here. Supermarket sweep.
Okay.
Yep.
Reference to the 90s. What was it? What
90s?
TV show was that?
I thought it was like 80s.
80s?
70s,
Yeah,
right?
1967 or something.
Maybe.
Dynamite.
Yeah, you are aging.
I'm an old soul.
Yeah.
So I always was told, even growing up, that I was an 80-year-old man stuck in a 14-year-old body. So it was, I had a rough childhood.
Yeah.
You still are.
Yeah.
So again, going back to what I had said earlier, basically, as you're getting the infusion over the course of an hour, now you're getting rehydrated. You have all these nutrients passing through. Well, again, it's water soluble. You have two major filtration systems working for you. You have your kidneys and you have your liver.
Okay.
Your kidney essentially is processing the extra fluid and figuring out, okay, we want to keep this. We need to get rid of this. The reason that your urine would turn a neon yellow, if you will, is so it's from the B vitamins. You could already see it in your bag that's infusing.
Yeah.
Essentially your body doesn't need all of them, but it's not to say that, say your muscles in your arms need a higher dosing of them than say your muscles in your legs, depending on what you worked out that day or what have you. So in actuality, this is sort of where that expensive urine, easy
from.
argument
Yeah.
comes
Yeah,
from.
yeah.
It's like, well, you just pee it all out. Well, you pee it out, but you're also using wherever you need it. Could you be perfectly fine with certain vitamins? 100%.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, like, you're deficient somewhere, and this is a way to sort of bring everything back to, again, you're washing the blackboard instead of just erasing it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
yeah. Like you said, I mean, those cells are passing by, absorbing it,
right.
too. So you get that as well.
100%.
Yeah. So, yeah, the pee-pee, expensive pee-pee, but still.
Yellow.
Yellow.
Now, should I do this after a big training day? Or training week, actually. It says week. Training week. Should?
Absolutely.
You should do it afterwards?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, so a lot of times the marathon runners, you shouldn't like marathon. Just for an example,
Yeah,
marathon runners, we don't want to be infusing them immediately after a race that they've done.
Okay.
The issue with that is you can get into, Joe, if I'm not mistaken, you can have you can get almost like flash. The fluids building up in your system and all that
Not
kind
so
of
much
stuff.
flash fluids, but certainly like your electrolyte gradients are so off that if we're not giving you the right concoction that you need, you could start to run into arrhythmias. You could run into cramping. There's a whole litany of things that can happen because of electrolyte gradients. So certainly you being so
Depleted.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like almost shocking, but you're just again flooding your system.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, you're sort of like, so with those types of clients, again, like you should be waiting at least a couple hours after a big race or, planning ahead of time. As far as like a big workout week and things like that, these training weeks, again, like you're replenishing what you're depleting, and you're rehydrating. You could drink as many bottles of water that you want. It is so hard to stay on top of it. And then the other thing too is a lot of people, they just think like, oh, I'll grab a Poland Spring and I'll just start chugging water. Well, you're just getting water. You're not replacing any of your electrolytes.
Yeah. Yeah. Sodium. So you need the sodium, potassium, and magnesium.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%.
So, yeah, I mean, if you were to, do it. You'd say do it. Because, I mean, I'm doing it after this is like the first time I've ever been able to train for like a straight week.
Yep.
So I mean that's actually why I was like, yeah, let's do it that day. And I've been, this is kind of my own experiment to do it because I felt like dog shit yesterday.
Yeah.
And I feel different right now. I feel hyped. Yeah, I do. I'm like jacked up right now.
Yeah.
It could be the espresso that we had before, but it was a while ago. It was a while ago.
Well, I'm the fool who I haven't really eaten much today, so I'm wondering if that has anything to do with why I feel it so strongly.
It could be, but I definitely am feeling this. I'm feeling a little razzle dazzle. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
You did last time too.
I did. So now it's not. It's really me. It's really me here that's feeling it. Sorry.
It's really him.
Yeah, it's really me, guys. So, do you guys do large parties? And I think they mean about with IVs.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and is that something you guys do often, like with the larger parties?
So now that we're moving past COVID, we've actually already had a number of calls for weekend events, that type of thing.
Yeah.
What was our biggest group? I think we did was like 10 or 12.
It was 12. Yep.
And again, like
it was down in Stanford.
Yep. And it was wild. Again, like trying to just sort of keep up with them. But again, like you've met us. We could be busy as heck. Like, we're still having a great time.
Yeah.
We're still razzing each other back and forth, and we're sort of playing off the room, seeing how people are feeling. And again, it's going past of bringing this top secrecy of healthcare out of it. Again, like, yeah, we maintain HIPAA and we're HIPAA compliant and everything else. We're going to protect your health information, but essentially, like, it's okay. Like, if you're having a rough time, like, it's okay.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to help you through it.
We got you. Now with this, like, you guys don't have to confirm nor deny. If you guys want a little head nod. Okay. Because this is a West Coast. This is was like a celebrity thing for a while.
Right.
If you look past. Is there been any celebrities neither confirm? If you want to just head nod, like, is this something you guys did? Yeah. A celebrity you guys did? Is Macaulay Culkin getting this thing? What's up? Whoopi Goldberg. They all live in Connecticut.
No celebrities. But even
why did you blink twice when you did that? You're a lie.
Because even if I did, I wouldn't tell you.
See, there is a celebrity.
No, and honestly, it boils back to what we do is
Jack Hanna, isn't it? He's amazing. It's Jack Hanna.
I think it's
just made up
with all this great technology that's coming into the healthcare market. We had you test out our M-Sculpt Neo machine that we brought with us today.
Yeah, we'll put a clip up of that. That was terrible. It was great. It was. I feel great. You did way better than I did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You were sweating.
No, I liked it. It was just,
But again, like with technology like that, that's actually great technology and it can serve so many different patient populations. I find that with social media getting, again, the Jersey Housewives, right? I think that was one of the first big introductions to, like, wait, what are they getting?
Yeah.
And again, like, it's great because it brings awareness to what we do, but in essence, it sullies what we're trying to move forward in a sense that, like, we want you to, like, view this as something medical, but like something to take the magic out of too. Like, you don't need, I got to go ask my doctor to do this. Yeah. Like, no, do you think this is going to help?
You can just do it. Yeah. Dave Chappelle does this too. Yeah. He's big on his plane when he does it. He has, a crew like waiting for him.
Yep. Simon Cowell does it.
Yeah, Simon Cowell does it. Yeah.
There's quite a few out there that do it.
Joe Rogan does it.
Yep. Joe Rogan does it.
Big proponent on that. Jersey, she would know that. Yeah.
Right.
Who does it?
Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
Paulie D.
Yeah, Schnooky or whatever. Schmookums.
Talk like him.
Yeah.
Don't tell me. That sounded a little more like Borat.
Yeah.
Don't
tell me what to do. Don't tell me. Yeah, you did. All right.
I tried for a quick second there.
So, you guys are the best. This has been great. Is it weird? My arm feels cold. That's normal though, right? Too.
That's normal.
Yeah, my arm feels cold.
We often, for the clients that we like, we offer a nice heat pad.
A heat pad, or you guys rub my arm.
Yep.
Thank you for not.
Devin likes to call it Mother Henning.
Yeah. That's cool. I like your piece. That's a good piece. Thanks. Yeah. It's not the first time I've said that to you. So we're gonna go. So let's we'll close it out. So where can people find you? Where, like, Instagram, YouTube, throw it out there.
So our website, www.livationct.com. Enjoy the website while it lasts. We're going to be launching a new website in about a month or two.
That's dope, yeah. Good things.
We're in the process of opening up a space down in the shoreline. We're specifically looking at Madison, Connecticut, so we're excited to be heading down there. Our Instagram, at LIVation CT.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got it.
You
Joe.
got it. Yeah, you can tell. Grandpa Joe's telling you on Instagram. Yeah.
Grammy.
LIVation CT.
LIVation CT.
Absolutely. Yep.
FaceTime. Right. Where am I? What day is it?
Oh, so many jokes.
Oh my God. So listen, you guys, super awesome, and it was my first time meeting you. Known this guy forever. We go way back.
So sorry.
And I know.
My condolences.
Listen,
I'm sorry too.
Listen, you guys are awesome. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for doing this. I'm super excited, and I feel great. So good. Do it. Go do it.
Still have about a quarter left.
I know. Hers is almost done. She's way smaller. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, I'm a slow bagger. Slow bagger. I don't know if that's a thing. But
we'll make it a thing.
Yeah, make it a thing. Yeah. We'll make it a thing. All right, we're out of here. See you guys later. Love you guys.
Thanks.
I love you so much.